What's up, guys? Chris over here at Cover 7. Hey, real quickly, I want to say thank you to everybody that's liked, commented, and subscribed. It helps a small channel out like mine. I've met a lot of great people the past couple weeks, so it's been a lot of fun, so I appreciate that. I don't claim to be a college football expert or analyst or insider. I'm just a 40-year-old guy who just loves college football. My favorite team happens to be the team I'm talking about today in Nebraska. So with that being said, guys, I want to start the show off with this real quickly, or this video, if I will, talking about Matt Rhule. I want to address this situation and give my opinion. Mind you, this is my opinion. I don't know any inside information. This is just what I think. And I try to put myself in Matt Rhule's shoes, and I'm going to try to put myself in Penn State's shoes right now. So I'm going to start with Penn State. Obviously, the James Franklin experiment is over there. They're looking for a new coach, rightfully so. They've been a powerhouse program a majority of my lifetime. They are a blue blood, if you will. There's not many of them out there, but they're looking for a coach. I'm assuming what they did is they put a list together between the board and the administration of coaches that would fit the bill there. My guess is they whittled it down to probably 5 or 6 coaches out there in the country. Matt Rhule's name has gotten thrown around a lot. My number one guy, and it's very obvious, I think everybody's thrown his name out there, which would make a lot of sense, would be Curt Stegnetti from Indiana. What this guy has done at Indiana is, honestly, in my opinion, unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. Indiana was known my whole life as a basketball school. That's it. I couldn't name 3 or 4 players that have played for Indiana, and I follow college football religiously. So what he's done there is amazing. They're a physical team. They're not just have one good quarterback and a couple good receivers. No, that whole team is really good. He's got a new quarterback this year in Mendoza. He's unbelievable. The receivers are unbelievable. They can run the football. They can play smash mouth football. They got elite talent on the defensive side of the ball. Ask Oregon this weekend what they did to them in Eugene. Unbelievable what he's doing there. And I'm assuming he's looking to get out of Indiana, I would assume, and go somewhere bigger. I don't blame him. We see it all the time in college football. He would be my number one candidate. I've heard the name thrown out, Duke's head coach, Manny Diaz. He used to be a Penn State defensive coordinator there back in the day. He's another guy. Matt Rhule, he obviously played at Penn State. He was a linebacker, I believe, in the 90s. Brian Hartline's a guy that I've always liked. He's the OC right now, legendary wide receiver coach over at Ohio State. And Matt Campbell's name gets thrown out. Seems like every coaching vacancy. He's coaching over at Iowa State, and what he's done at Iowa State the past, I don't even know how long he's been there, 6-7 years. He's done a hell of a job there. I do believe he is a really good coach as well. So that would be my list if I was Penn State. Matt Rhule probably did get a phone call this week. I'm assuming he did. If Matt Rhule got offered the job, the only way I think he gets offered the job would be if Curt Stegnetti probably turned it down. If he got it offered to him, I'm going to say that he probably would take it. And I know this is going to probably upset Nebraska fans. It wouldn't make me really happy either. And like I said, this is all speculation. This is just my theory. I think he would take the job though. Why? If you look at his history, he's been a program builder. That's what he's done, right? He was Temple's head coach for 4 years. He started 2-10 there. He left them at 10-3 in 4 years. In 2017, he goes to Baylor. He started 1-11. He left them at 11-3 after 3 years. He goes to the Carolina Panthers, which is obviously the NFL, and did horrible there all 3 years. Now, I want to mention this to people because I don't think a lot of college football fans understand this if you don't follow the NFL. NFL head coaching and college head coaching are on 2 different realms. Honestly, the only thing they have in common is really head coach. The job description is totally, totally different. A majority of college coaches end up not being good NFL coaches and vice versa. Every once in a while, Pete Carroll's one you throw to mind that was really great at both, won a Super Bowl, won a Natty with USC, obviously. It's hard to do. So I kind of throw out the Carolina Panther thing if you're Matt Rhule. He comes back. Obviously, he goes to Nebraska. He's been here since 2023. The 3-year thing with Matt Rhule, right? We're on year 3. We look like a team that's destined to probably win 9 or 10 games, maybe 11 this year. That Penn State game coming up doesn't look so tough now. Now, I'm just saying. But I do overall think he would probably take the job. Now, if I was Penn State, I don't know if I would take Matt Rhule. Why? I think he's a lot like James Franklin. James Franklin, his biggest knock was, well, he can't beat Ohio State. He can't beat Michigan. He can't beat Oregon. Matt Rhule hasn't really beaten anybody of note either. You guys know this as Husker fans, and it pains me to say this. We've lost 29 straight to ranked teams. Now that's not all Matt Rhule. That's Scott Frost, Mike Riley. You guys know the list. So yeah, with that being said, guys, I kind of do think he would take the job if he was offered that. It makes me super leery, if you will, that today he didn't really answer the question that was asked to him about the Penn State vacancy. So that makes me a little nervous as a Husker fan, but this is just my theory on the Matt Rhule deal. Like I said, he builds programs, he leaves. It would fit right in the build of his resume, right? 3 years in Nebraska, I did what I was supposed to do. I took them from a 5 or whatever 4-win team. I left them at 9 or 10 wins essentially, and that's assuming that we win this game this week. But you guys know what I'm saying with this, so it wouldn't shock me. I hope it doesn't happen. I like Matt Rhule. I think he's a great guy. I think he is really good at building programs. I would like to see him win a few more games here, and I'd definitely like to see him stay here for a longer time. I can't knock a guy going back to his hometown. I can't. I just can't do that. I understand what that's like. You see that a lot in college football. Guys want to go coach at their alma mater or a team they played at. And I get that. I respect the hell out of it. Matt Rhule, you guys remember his first interview here at Nebraska. Within 30 seconds, he mentioned Penn State. Just reminding you guys. I remember that like it was yesterday. And I remember kind of thinking about it. I'm like, if he does really good at Nebraska, would he leave here to go to Penn State? Ironically, I don't think anybody saw James Franklin getting fired this quickly this year, especially after a team that he had, in the 14 playoff at the end of the year last year. So we've seen crazy shit happen in college football, and it happens all the time. So there's my thoughts on that, guys. I hope I'm wrong, but that's just my theory. You can let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I'd actually like to know what you guys think. Okay, with that being said, let's dig into this prediction in this big game this week. This is a Friday night game, by the way, so I had to push this out tonight. Normally, I start with the road team. By the way, my screen is wrong. It's Nebraska going on the road here to Minnesota, but I'm going to start with Minnesota first, and I'll follow up with my Huskers at the end. Minnesota 4-2. They lost to Cal in week 3, 27-14. They lost to Ohio State, which is what everybody does when they play them. 2 weeks ago, 42-3. They beat Purdue last week. I did catch a little bit of that game, but I'm not going to lie. I haven't watched Minnesota a lot this season, so I'm not going to claim to be an expert on them. Here's the numbers on offense. They're led by another freshman quarterback here, Drake Lindsey. Numbers ain't bad here for a freshman. He's got over 1,200 yards, a 60% completion percentage, 9 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He's been sacked 8 times. Running back, Darius Taylor. This kid is really good. He's been banged up this year. I know he came back a couple weeks ago for the Ohio State game. I think he had like 12 yards on 8 carries. I don't put a lot of stock into that. Nobody can run the ball against Ohio State. Nobody. But this kid had a really good year last year. I think he had almost 1,000 yards. He had like 10 touchdowns. He was actually one of the better backs in the Big Ten last season. If he's healthy, he is a problem. I will say that. Brockington and Javon Tracy are the 2 top pass catchers here for Minnesota. Lindsey likes to spread it around, though, and his tight end is Jamison Gears. I think that's his name. He's his top red zone target. I think that kid's got 3 touchdowns on the year, so we need to watch out for that. How Minnesota ranks out offensively, they're 104th in total offense, so they're not real impressive there. They're 114th in rushing offense. They struggle to run the football. Some of that is due because the injury to Taylor this year. They're 68th in passing offense. They're 54th in sacks allowed. Now, you guys know PJ Fleck, man. He's not known for elite offenses at Minnesota. He's known for defense. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Minnesota reminds me a lot of like a poor man's Iowa. If you Husker fans know what I'm saying here, they're a physical team, right? That's what they do. On defense, they're pretty damn good this year, considering they've been on the field a majority of the time. Excuse me. They're 27th in total defense, 28th in rushing defense. They're 49th in passing yards allowed. They're 46th in sacks with 14 sacks on the season. Like I said, these are good stats considering they are on the field quite a bit, considering the ball, they can't move the ball on offense. Now, my Huskers, let's talk about them real quickly here. 5-1, you guys know. The only loss was to Michigan a few weeks ago, 30-27. They beat Maryland in the fourth quarter last week, which was great. It was a comeback. I hadn't seen that in a while out of the Huskers. I was very proud of that. Definitely some concerns, though, going forward in this game with the Huskers. They didn't answer every question I had, but we'll see here. We'll see on Friday. Quarterback Dylan Raiola. Numbers are pretty damn good this year. Over 1,500 yards. He's got a 73.4% completion rate, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I know what everybody's thinking. Yes, he threw 3 last week. He did. Some of them were boneheaded throws. I'm not sure why he threw them, but I'm gonna give him a pass. I am. He needs to get that cleaned up though, especially here Friday night. running back, and my guy, Emmett Johnson. I was never more happy for a Nebraska player than I was him last week. He had, in my opinion, his best game as a Husker. He had 21 carries for 176 yards. That's 8.4 yards per carry, guys. That's very impressive. Like I said, I like Emmett Johnson. I think he's a really good back. The O-line actually played really well, in my opinion, in that game against Maryland. They only gave up 1 sack, I believe, too, which is, I've been really harping on the O-line all season, so hopefully that carries forward into this game. Look, I'm going to say it right now, second best wide receiver core in the Big Ten. I'm telling you, I'm putting them up there. I know that's probably pretty high, considering there's a lot of good groups in the Big Ten, but I love these guys, and Isaiah Hunter, Ja'Cory Barney, Dane Key. These guys are all studs. You guys know. Tight end Luke Lindemeyer had a hell of a catch, by the way, in that game. He's really impressed me this season as a tight end. He's got a really good set of hands, too. So super happy about that. Dylan likes to spread the ball around between all 4 of these guys. I think it's great. I think that's a good thing. How did they grade out offensively this season? They're 27th in total offense, 90th, in rushing yards. They're 9th in passing yards, which is crazy. They're 112th in sacks allowed with 16 on the year. Like I said, that's got to continue to improve. They looked good last week. I expect that to get better going forward. Defensively, I got a couple of concerns here. Some of these stats are a little bit skewed as well. I mean, they're 14th in total defense, which looks good on paper. They're 84th in rushing defense, though. Like Maryland ran the ball on us last week, a couple big plays. We got to clean that up. We got to clean that up going forward. We know that. They're number 1 in the country in pass defense, which is skewed, though, guys, a little bit here, considering we played 2 elementary schools earlier in the year. But I do believe this is the strength of our defense this season is the secondary. They're 83rd in the country with 11 sacks on the year. I'd like to see that number creep up a little bit and get some more pressure on the quarterback. Overall, here's my thoughts on this game, guys. I said it earlier, Minnesota doesn't beat themselves, okay? They remind me of Iowa. They really do in a lot of ways. Ball control, few penalties, and they're not going to turn the ball over. That's just how PJ Fleck has ran this program in his time there. Get this stat, and this one, I've talked about this every single year. PJ Fleck at Minnesota is 6-1 versus my Huskers. And your Huskers, 6-1. I mean, we struggle with these guys for whatever reason. And Minnesota is not a world beater. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why it is that we struggle against Minnesota. This game scares the hell out of me. I circled this before the season started. I said this back-to-back road stretch here at Maryland and then at Minnesota, and I circled the Minnesota game. I said this is the type of game that Nebraska usually loses for whatever reason. Is Minnesota more talented than us? No. They don't have the skill position players, not even close to what we have. They don't have near the defensive talent on the other side, but talent doesn't win you games. It helps. And Nebraska, for whatever reason in this game, what I've seen historically in this game has been the physicality factor. They bring it. They are at home. It's going to be loud there. And for whatever reason, PJ Fleck has found a way to beat us every single year. It's usually ugly. It's a 13-10 game. It's a 17-14 type of game. Usually we shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties. We got to clean that up going forward, and I believe Matt Rhule does here. So like I said, guys, in the past, like I said, the Huskers have dropped this game, but not this time. I believe Nebraska wins this one. I believe Nebraska gets it going in this one early. Give me Nebraska 27. Give me Minnesota 20. Go Huskers, and thank you guys for watching.